The Cole household was an interesting place to grow up, believe me. My mom sang. My father was a saxophone player. My father encouraged me to play music from a very, very early age. And at first I thought it was the coolest thing because I wanted to be just like Dad. And he got me very involved in bebop. We used to listen to NPR and listen to the jazz shows and play a game where, you know, who can name the saxophone player? Who can name the trumpet player? Who do you think this is? Who's the drummer? And that was always fun. I never got them right though. I started out playing classical music. I found a teacher in high school who introduced me to the widespread, very popular area of classical saxophone playing. I mean, honestly, some of the repertoire is absolutely gorgeous. So I was very into French and Russian serious music. I actually studied in Amsterdam and played music for saxophone and string quartet and things like that. I actually got to play with the Chicago Symphony as a soloist. Realized at that point, this was freshman year of college when I got to do that my classical saxophone career at the ripe old age of 18 had reached its zenith, and started looking for other types of music to play. I think I started to really get serious about the type of music that I'm doing now when I heard Spyro Gyra, and I heard Morning Dance, and I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. And I went and I bought the records and I would play them in my room at home and play along with them like note for note. I mean, I could still play every note of so many of these songs, And going along those lines, then I started buying Grover Washington Jr. records and George Benson records and David Sanborn records, and these were the guys, and this was the music that I immediately, when I heard it, knew that's what I want to do. I want to be just like these guys, There's a really diverse music scene in the city of Chicago. And growing up, I mean, although I was studying classical music, I was always, very much involved in the blues scene and R&B and soul and jazz. And the great thing about it is in Chicago, when I was, growing up, there was always a place to play all of it, and they were all kind of next door to each other. And being a saxophone player, you can kind of cross all those lines, and it was really great to get such a wide variety of influences and have them, so close to home.
Steve Cole is such a soulful saxophone player. I remember hearing him the first time just after my very first record came out. I went out to this club in Chicago and heard him play. I'm like, oh my God, this guy can blow. A soulful playing and such feeling when he plays. You look at him, you're like, man, he's feeling what he's playing.
NYLA is my third record, and people are asking me, you're from Chicago, why do you call it NYLA? And that's a very good question, and I'll get back to you. With this record, I kind of wanted to take the different kind of styles of music that I was involved in Chicago, it being a diverse musical city. I wanted to take a lot of those different styles and really attempt to put them together in one record. Soul, blues, jazz, hip-hop, rap, all of that stuff. And I kind of picked the people that I was going to work with on the record based on their different strengths and different styles. So there's some really good smooth jazz, like a lot of the stuff that I've been doing before, but kind of taken to the next level. And I was able to kind of continue the progression of that with my friend Brian Culbertson, who produced a few of the songs. A great friend of mine, David Mann, and I wrote a song together called Off Broadway for the record. And hence the NY part, because I started making the record in New York. And I wanted that kind of New York, blues and soul sound on the record, and we got, guys like Will Lee and Ralph Roll to play on the track, and Dave did an amazing job. And then I wanted to kind of go in a completely different direction and say, okay, I like jazz, I like blues, I like soul, but I also like acid jazz, I like hip hop, I like rap, straight up R&B. And I was introduced by a production team. They're called Sonic Soul. It's Susan Youngblood and Hammy Dare. And they're based in Los Angeles. Just keep the LA part. See how it all comes together? See? And we put together some great R&B vocal tracks. And at the end of the record, we put together a track that really encompasses my goal for the record. It's an acid jazz groove with a rapper, a scat singer, bebop, saxophone playing, being blown over this crazy groove that's happening. And it's called Keep It Live, and it was one of the funnest tracks I've ever done. It's a really great mixture of a lot of different musical styles, all of which I participate in, from bebop to smooth jazz to R&B to soul to hip hop. It's all in there. The record is really a conglomeration of a lot of different styles, and my fear was, are all of these going to live together on the same record and sound like they should be on the same record? And at the end of the day, I think they really do. And I think in my mind, it's mission accomplished. It all sounds like it belongs in the same place, and it's just kind of a progression. It's action-packed. It's fun for the whole family. And and if I've missed something, just send me an email and I'll put it in the next one.